Summary of the labor law. One objectives of the labor law: to create harmonious, dynamic, and equitable working relationship between employers and employees, to protect workers' rights and provide legal certainty in employment relationship, to encourage increased productivity and competitiveness of the Indonesian workforce. 2. Scope. This law regulates various aspects of employment, including employment relationship, wage regulations, working hours and rest periods, occupational safety and health, protection of women and child workers, termination of employment or PHK, dispute resolution. 3. Employment relationship. Types of employment relationship regulates two types of employment agreements. 1. Fixed term employment agreement or PKWT for temporary work, permanent employment agreement or PKWTT for permanent work. Rights and obligations explains the right and obligation for employers and employees, including right to wage, leave, and protection. 4. Wage regulations. Minimum wage regulates the establishment of provincial minimum wage or UMP and district or city minimum wage or UMK that must be adhered to by employers. Wage payment establishes provisions regarding the timing and method of wage payment as well as employees' right to allowance and bonuses. Wage increases regulates the mechanism for periodic wage increases. 6. Working hours and rest periods. Working hours establish normal working hour limits of no more than 40 hours per week with daily working hour provisions. Overtime regulates overtime provisions including limits on overtime hours, and employees' rights to overtime pay. Leave regulates right to annual leave, sick leave, maternity leave, and other types of leaves, as well as provisions regarding rest periods. 6. Occupational safety and health. Employer obligations regulates employers' obligations to provide a safe and healthy working environment as well as protection against workplace accident risks. Safety standards establish safety and health standards that must be adhered to by employers, including training for employees. 7. Protection of women and child workers. Women workers regulates special protection for women workers, including rights to maternity leave, breastfeeding leave, and protection against discrimination. Child workers prohibits child labor and establishes provisions regarding the types of work that can be performed by adolescents as well as protection against exploitation. 8. Termination of employment or PHK. Reasons for termination regulates valid reasons for termination, including economic reasons, violation, and other grounds. Termination procedures establish procedures that must be followed before termination, including the obligation to provide notice and an opportunity for defense. Employee right explains the right employees affected by termination, including severance pay, right to allowances, and the right to obtain a work certificate. 9. Dispute resolution mechanism provides mechanism for resolving disputes between employers and employees through mediation, conciliation, and arbitration. Industrial Relations Court regulates the establishment of the Industrial Relations Court to handle labor disputes. 10. Sanctions and law enforcement. Administrative sanctions establishes sanctions for employers who violate the provision of this law, including fines and revocation of business licenses. Government role regulates the role of government in supervision and law enforcement in the field of labor, including the establishment of supervisory agencies and implementation of labor inspections. Conclusion: the labor law in Indonesia aims to protect workers' rights and create fair and harmonious working relationships. By regulating various aspects of employment, this law plays a crucial role in creating a safe, productive, and equitable working environment, as well as promoting sustainable economic growth.